Good evening. Today I'd like to send a message or a call out to the Ron Paul supporters. In a prior video, I stated things I disagree with Ron Paul on, in only really one major field. But you guys are exceptionally aggressive. I mean, I've gotten into arguments with liberals and Occupy Wall Street types, the pro-communist, environmentalist extremists, whatever, even religious discussions. But I've never had that quick a response from a segment of population. I mean, I got like 67 negative votes on it in the first 10 minutes of posting, which means you guys are literally sitting at the computer all day long waiting for something to be posted negative against Ron Paul. So I'm going to make this video. So let me do a quick adjustment here. I'm going to make this video to show the areas in which I agree with Ron Paul and the areas where I admire him, to make you happy. Now, personally, I still plan to vote for Rick Santorum, but I'll let you know right at the beginning, I will vote for any of the Republican candidates if it's a choice between them and Obama. What I appreciate about Ron Paul, one, he is consistent. His views may not entirely be mine, but he's honest and he seems consistent. He doesn't seem to be a hypocrite like so many politicians are these days. Hello, Cat. Anyways, the second part is I like his small government viewpoints. I believe that get out of here. I believe that he would try to shrink government. Secondly, whether he can or not is all a debate on how much power the president has and whether or not he would stray from the legal limitations of the presidency in the name of forwarding his goal of shrinking federal government and such. I don't know. If he's a strict constitutionalist, as some of you have claimed, then he would restrict his activities as president to what the president in the Constitution is allowed to do, which means he wouldn't do things like Obama did and Bush did sometimes, and so many other presidents did, where they basically ignored the Constitution and said, I'm not going to support this law because I disagree with it or whatever. He would support all laws, even those put forward and passed by communist socialists on the far left. So, I don't know. You have to tell me that one. But I do believe he'll make the effort. I think his foreign policy would give our military a respite, would cost less money. I don't actually think it will help with trade, but we can debate the reasons for that. But I think it would help in some ways. I'm trying to remain positive, so I'm not going to be too critical. Other qualities of Ron Paul that I appreciate is some of his libertarian qualities I appreciate, and I'll give you a perfect example. I don't think the government should be involved in marriage at all, even on the state level. I don't think it's the role of government to be interested in such matters, and generally speaking, I think the government's inability to clearly define what a marriage is a perfect reason why it should not be involved in marriage. Anyways, that and the fact that it's a highly personal matter, and they really shouldn't be playing a role in personal who you're setting up house with. Religiously, I'm Christian, which means I have my own standards for marriage. And I do believe other standards that some people like to think as normal would be sinful and such. But No, I'm not for government involvement in it because government just seems to be unable to commit to any definition. And so I agree with him on that aspect. And I actually do agree with legalizing some of the currently illegal drugs. But if you're going to legalize it, don't do the silly, deceptive, it's only for medical purposes. Do it full bore. Just say, it's legal. You can buy it at 7-Eleven, without a prescription. Because you know that whole prescription thing is a joke when it comes to many of the recreational users of these drugs. And a lot of the people who promote legalization of these drugs secretly know this too. And they just pretend as if that's not really what they're shooting for. As if we're somehow stupid enough that we won't know that. But I disagree on the area of some drugs. Some drugs are really, really horrific on what they do to the people, how addictive they are, how it affects your behavior towards others. Goodness. And even many of your crowd, if I went through a grocery list of all these drugs, would admit that. Now, Ron Paul claims he's for states' rights to decide these matters and such. Well, I would say amen to that. The states have largely given up huge swaths of their power to the federal government, and they should restore them. And I agree with that comment, if that's his goal. And I'm just going to take him on face value on that. I think confirmation comes in when he supports a state's right to decide something in a direction that he doesn't like them to decide it. In other words, let's say he's anti-abortion and a state wants to allow abortions for minors without parental consent, and then he would, if he's truly about states' rights, would run to the defense of that state saying they have a right to do that. As much as I might disagree with them, I support this law of theirs. I haven't seen a whole lot of that, maybe because I'm not a Ron Paul fan or fanatic. I'm not following them every day, following him every day of the week and such. So who knows? Maybe he has said stuff like that, but I just haven't heard it. Anyways, that's about it for now. I would support Ron Paul versus Barack Obama. I think Ron Paul is an honest fellow. I think his fans and his supporters are probably the most energetic and aggressive individuals I've ever seen, which I find somewhat intimidating and something that makes me less likely to vote for Ron Paul than to vote for Ron Paul. I don't like cult of personalities, so when I get a mob of people running to the defense of something, I go, oh no, I don't know about that. Anyways, you take care, God bless, and may the best man win in the primaries. I'll support anyone but Obama.